Okay, so I'm gonna start with just explaining FL Studio, um, so that you can see the comparisons between InTrack and FL Studio. Um, so in FL Studio, you have 5 icons up here, and that's the 5 different sections of the program. So you can start with one here, and you click on it. And so this is your playlist. This is where all your audio files go. So you can see the waves if you look close. You can move things around and you can edit and chop it up. And you've got all your created patterns over here that you can just drag in. So that's your playlist. Number 2 is the piano roll. Okay, so up here, number 2. Mine is green. I changed it to green because I felt like it. So the deal here is you essentially can just put in notes. Let me stop that. You can just put in notes here. One second. Okay. Just ignore that, what I did. Okay. So the piano roll, you essentially just put in notes, and this is for a synth sound. And you can move them around, and that's how you create. So you can just put in a bunch of notes, and then shape them. And what you can do here is, so when you press play, it plays what you created. This has drums in it. Just ignore that. But what you can do is select a section of this, like so. It's selected, and it's just gonna loop. And you can press play. Sounds horrid, but and you can move them around like that. So you can hear it change as it's on a loop, and you can form them until whatever. That sounds absolutely ridiculously bad, but so that's the idea. So you've got the piano roll, the playlist. Number 3 is, let's see, the channel rack. Okay, so the deal with the channel rack is what you're essentially doing is you're coming up here to the database, which is number 5 up here at the top. You're clicking on that, figuring out where that is. Somewhere. Oh. Alright, so it's all the way over here. Alright. And this is like your file system. So it's got your backups, and all your kits or packs. and you can see drums down there. But what you're essentially doing is dragging sounds onto the channel rack and setting them up to be played. So right now these are just sounds in this database, and then you're going to bring them into here, the channel rack, and then you open up the piano roll, and that's how you create like the sound that I just created. So like down here you see like hats, hi-hats, you got all these choices. You click on them and you can hear it, you can play what you created and hear what they will sound like with it. And then when you find something that you like, you just grab it and drag it into the channel rack. And then that's set up, and you do a right click and go to piano roll. And then here now, what I chose was a hat, a drum hat. And so you can hear this if I press play. You can hear it. And then like something you can do here is go up to these tools at the top and choose a slicer and just slice it up. Alright, so and then you just like build off that. So that's that. The channel rack also has you can load in like these sound apps that you have, which if you go here and do a right click and go to replace, you then have all these different options, like drum things. You got all these synth programs. So if you choose a synth program, like something like Citrus up here at the top, you then shows up with the app, and it'll have presets at the top right, and you click those, and then you've got all these sounds, and you can just change and see what they sound like, and you just go through and choose. So like here's a piano, here's just a regular piano. Alright, so you can, I mean, it doesn't sound that bad, actually. So that's the idea. So you load sounds into the channel rack, and then you take the channel rack sounds into the piano roll, and you form what you're going to create. Alright, so that's that section. The last one, we did the database, which is your backups and all your sounds, your drum sounds and whatnot. And the last one is the mixer up here. So click on that. And the mixer is essentially a volume board for all your different sounds, all your different tracks that you have here. Like you play and you can see the volume going up and down, and you can raise it. But this is also where you set up your instruments. So for example, if I was loading one of my guitars into here, I would click an empty track here and come over here to input like 4. I think that's it. And then so that didn't work. So it's not input 4. Input 3. No. Input 2. Input 5. Input 6. Alright, I don't know where it is, but that's how you set it up. And then you'll hear the guitar and you'll see the sound come up here. So this is a spread out of all your volumes of what you have going on. So you can slide them and mix them. And then this is also where you can add effects onto the sounds that you're creating. So you can send anything to one of these channels, anything that you've created, and then on top of it you can add effects. So like you'll see these effects, reverb, delay, all sorts of stuff. So that's the idea. You've got the first one is the playlist, which is your audio files, your wave files. The second one is the piano roll, where you put in your notes. Third one is the channel rack, where you load your sounds. You can also do a basic pattern here, but it's helpful at times, but it's not very complex. So you have the channel rack, and then you have the mixer for your volumes and effects, and then the last one is your database, and that's where you get your sounds. Last one, and the database just pulls out here. So yeah, so that's all of those, and then I'll show you in track, and you'll see the similarities.